Welcome back. Today on Dialed In DIY, we're deconstructing a mattress to see what's inside. I do have to admit I started this project just to satisfy my own sense of curiosity. But in the end, there are a lot of great items inside of this that I might be able to use in some future projects. So we're going to break this down into two parts. The first part is the materials. The second part is the hardcore inside. Let's begin by removing the top part of the upholstery. We're going to cut alongside the border tape all the way around on all sides. This top layer consists of quilted fabric and padding, and once removed, it reveals the polyfoam underneath. Any remaining material around the edges is removed so that we can get at the polyfoam, which is actually pretty easy to remove from the frame because all you have to do is pull it hard enough to release it from the hogs rings. This next layer of material is called the insulator, and it's actually connected directly to the inner spring, and this helps to prevent the padding from getting molded to the coils during use. This insulator material is on both sides of the coils, and I took two approaches to getting this off. On this side, I clipped all the hogs rings to get it loose, and this took a lot of time. So I took a different approach on the other side, and you'll see that in just a minute. I went ahead and pulled the insulator free so that I could get to the inner spring and take a look at what's inside. What you're looking at here is an open spring mattress, and this has 3 different gauges of wire inside, and we'll take a look at all of these pieces in the second half of this video. But for now, we're just going to continue all the way around and get all of the outer layers of material or upholstery removed from the frame. So now let's flip the whole thing over, and this time, instead of clipping all the hogs rings, I'm just sharpening up my scissors and cutting this insulator layer free. So now that we have the edges all cleaned up, I can show you a side view of these hourglass shaped coils. So now we're ready to start cutting some steel. Now we need to grab some more tools, and the main thing that I need first is a good set of bolt cutters. Now you don't have to have a huge set for this, but just something good enough to make it work a little quicker, and a bolt cutter like this is much faster for getting through all of this material. These coils have spiraled wire holding them together called helicals, and just like the insulator layer, I have 2 ways to get these removed. The first is to clip the ends and the middle, and then start spinning them off. This is a very manual process that involves rotating them off just like a screw, and it is slow and painful. I will show you a much more efficient way in just a minute. This outer material is called a border rod, and it is the heaviest gauge steel that you have here in this process. It is much easier to remove once the springs have been released, as we've done. Enough of the slow and painful process. It's time to dial in the efficiency and have fun with a clever little solution for this approach. I just tightened the chuck down around the wire, threw it in reverse, hit the trigger, and this was a much more fun solution. In the previous approach, I was actually cutting the helicals down into thirds. That was necessary because the larger pieces could not be unscrewed manually by hand. However, with the drill, I could use the entire length of helical and pull it out with the drill with ease. We'll now work on freeing the rest of the border rod on this side. We're going to start by cutting all of the coils right next to the clips. That way, we can twist the coil free from the clip and pull that border rod straight off the edge. Once I had all the border rod removed from the first side, I flipped the whole thing over and continued the process, but this time it's much quicker with our new solution. Now each time a helical is removed, the coils just fall off the edge of the clip. We ended up with a pretty big pile of coils at the end of the process. So once you've completely devastated your mattress, what are you left with? The first part of that answer is a whole bunch of steel in the form of helicals, border rod, and coils. These are all three in different gauges. We also ended up with a whole bunch of polyfoam, upholstery, and insulator layers. If you have ideas for what to do with these materials, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Please press like and then subscribe. There will be more Dialed In DIY to come. A special thanks to Bass NATO for making the background music for me to use in this video.